at all these unfinished projects. In the quilting world, we call them UFOs. Holy smokes, I wonder how much this is all worth.
The time is now.
Here at Quilting Plus More, we're all about bringing your quilts to life so they can be treasured for generations. These sure can't be treasured, they're not finished. I should explain how I'm defining a UFO. A UFO in Julie World is something that I have not seen in a yearish, something that's not on my radar. Don't confuse a UFO with a WIP, a work in progress. A work in progress is something that I'm actively working on, like my Baltimore album quilt. I could go about tackling all of these UFOs in different ways. I could go stack by stack and deal with each one and then move on. Or I could go through each pile and complete an inventory sheet on each one that documents the stages of progress. To me, the idea of going through each individual project and documenting, each stage is a daunting task. So for me, I plan on picking a project and moving forward. Tackle your piles however works best for you. When I do pick one, if I am not feeling that project at that point in time, then I'll put it back and choose something else and move on. As long as I am making progress and working on my stacks and completing them, I am good with that. You can't enjoy something that's not finished, right? Some of these are patterns and fabric. Some of them are completed tops, and some of them are in progress. Like these are partially completed. This was part of a shop hop, and it was actually in 2006. And in here I have all of the patterns that I got from this shop hop, and this shop hop took place in Washington State. So this is waiting for me to since 2006. And I mean, look at all this fabric here. These are kits. Some of these are finished, and I just have one or two more blocks of this one to do. So there's those. These are quilt tops that are finished. This quilt top, I bought this in 2018, I believe. And, I have often thought about this quilter and this quilt and its story. I had an appraiser look at this, and she thought it was from the 1930s. So UFOs have been around for a long time. This is another quilt top that is finished. This is one I did and is waiting for me to quilt. And everything is here. This is a pattern or a quilt kit called Arlington. And this was inspired by an antique quilt. And I have a label in here. I completed it in 2011, and I named this quilt Faith, Prayer, and Tears. And my quilt label says, I wanted to sew during a family crisis, not think, sew. This quilt kit, my only, got me sewing quickly. Faith, prayer, and quilting are helping me through a very difficult time. The love of a mother for a child is great, but the love of God is greater. So I put my child in the hands of God and trust. And then I have a quote, and it says, the light shines in darkness, and the darkness cannot overcome it. And that's John chapter 1, verse 5. This quilt was a form of art therapy for me. Quilts are made for many, many reasons, and I can't stress enough that quilts are more than pieces and yardage. They're a story, our story, the story of those involved with you and me and our quilts. Their value is not just monetary, but it's personal. It's our storyboard of life, those happy and sad times, good and bad times, and everything in between. These quilts and their stories need and deserve to be finished and told. Stuck on making a decision, or maybe you're having analysis paralysis. Make an educated decision based on the information and supplies that you have at that point and move forward. Learn from the decision. Learn by doing. In that finished project, that decision and learning experience becomes part of the project story and your story. Procrastinating? This is your official shove. Block out time in your schedule to dedicate to a project and to yourself. Do you feel guilty about taking time for yourself when there are chores or to-do items that are on your list that need to be done? I do. Quilting is my form of therapy, my happy place. They say that you have to take care of yourself before you are able to take care of others. Taking time for ourselves is not a bad thing, and we should not feel guilty about taking time for us. Maybe you're still looking for that perfect piece of fabric. Go shopping in your stash, make a decision based on the information and fabric you have, and move forward. The process of shopping your stash might actually force you to try something that you wouldn't otherwise try. If we are not moving forward, we are not learning, nor is progress being made. Perfectionism has held me back and slowed me down in the past, and in Julie World, my mantra is progress, not perfection. I encourage you, no, I challenge you to pick a project, just one of your UFOs, commit to it, tackle and overcome whatever is holding you back, so the story of that quilt can be told and you can watch your quilt come alive. I have an idea on how to tell the stories of these finished quilts. Stay tuned, and when the video is ready, it will appear here.